the next school year. My third year at Museum Ground. It is hard to describe all that has happened during this time before the Redux. Many wonderful things, some parties and a little love. But for me, it was all over. Before the Redux, I imagined how it would be, how it could be, what I would do differently and how I would react in the situations that occurred. But now, a year after, I was not nearly as happy as I was dreaming about such possibility. The only thing that actually came true and that I was able to materialize completely was my money. Soon enough, I would be able to invest all I have earned by placing sport bets on those events I knew the outcome of. Concerning all the other things I was set to accomplish, I don't know. Sure, I've made some changes to the flow of things and I may have experienced different situations and sometimes different aspects of the same situation. But all in all, it wasn't nearly the fun I expected. There were many factors. Most of all, my friends were of no real interest to me. I could hardly talk to them, because they were so different. Everything they said or talked about, I have already heard or thought about. Not even the girls were of interest to me. At first, after I had to accept my new situation, I gave in to the atmosphere and my first love, Miori Morihara. But very soon I realized the girls around me were just girls. Me, I was a man and I felt terrible when I first thought of them in a sexual way. That's why I decided to get more introvert, and even though I was excellent in all other aspects of my school life because of my knowledge and experience, despite my charisma, influence, the potential to make an impression on that girls' hearts and the respect I enjoyed, and aside from a few situations where I felt something resembling love, I never felt I could be in love again. And I almost forgot that I could very well love. I could love someone I found attractive and nice, someone much older than my current classmates, someone like Miss Kamiyama, a teacher at our school, when I noticed last school year and whom I met in the city during the summer holidays once. And how did I know it was love from my side? I didn't, but it had to be love, or at least the first stage, because the way I felt when I thought about Miss Kamiyama could be compared only to the times when I was in love and loved by my first and second girlfriend. Our love developed with time, and one day I really could feel it, especially with Hikaru. I could feel I love her, and I could feel she loves me. There were no questions or godlike, unattainable idols. There was just me and her. I didn't want Miss Kamiyama to look at me. I was the boy who felt inferior to the girl he dreams about. I wanted to know her more. I wanted to find out what Miss Kamiyama likes, how she is. Somehow, I felt that I could really love again. When me and Hikaru broke up, I never thought I could be able to love again. There was this strange feeling inside of me that made me feel I knew that I could never love again. Perhaps it was my way of life. Perhaps my thinking. I didn't know. And then, this summer, I realized that was wrong. It was so wonderful, it made me cry. The situation could not be more desperate, with me having feelings for my teacher. Something that maybe was impossible to go well. But I had no choice. I would have liked to say I didn't fight my feelings towards Miss Kamiyama, because I knew I would have no real chance. Perhaps for an affair, but never a relationship. Yet, the truth was that I didn't want to listen to the reasons. I was so exhausted from preceding year, from all the things I had to pretend, that this was such freedom that I just couldn't let go. I also noticed I stopped thinking about what happened before the Redux. Now I only thought about what to do now, before every event that was to come, be it the dance classes or Love's Day, was for me a source of dreams, thoughts and anticipation. I would first recall how the situation went down that time, then dream about what I could do and how I could do it, then finally relive the moment, and then dream some more of how I should have done it, and how I could have done it better. Often I'd very well experience the atmosphere of that moment. Sometimes I'd be left with a new situation, but all in all, it was all the same. I have seen it before and experienced it before. And the desire to go about that was so strong inside me, and that was growing with the fact that I remembered less and less and tended to make up the missing detail, fill them with positive data, was now diminishing in importance. I was there. I knew how it was, and there was nothing that the situation had to offer me. All that I really wanted when I dreamed about Redux was given to me maybe in my first month back at Mizumi grounds. This is really true. Now, however, it was all over. I was getting more and more tired from all the repeating events, all the old shows on TV, all the old songs on the radio, and all the old technology around me. People would be astonished by technology that I was at my time already rushing. It all seemed so pathetic to me. Not to mention all the things I liked to buy, my favorite magazines, food. Many of those things were not around. I was in the past. All the cars on the streets reminded me of that. If they knew what kinds of cars would be on the streets 10 years from now, they wouldn't be so impressed by that great new model that just came out. Miss Kamiyama was something I didn't expect. I thought about my two girlfriends. I couldn't get together with them. We parted for a reason. But Miss Kamiyama was absolutely unknown to me. Undoubtedly, this was new for me. I wouldn't have anything to hold on to, no background information, and no experience as to what would happen if I did something. But I think it was not only because of that the situation was new for me, that I got out of my shell. Miss Kamiyama was someone I really could love, without feeling guilty. And so, the first day back at school, I was very eager to find out the one thing that has puzzled me ever since. I saw Miss Kamiyama in the summer. It was her name, her first name. I have made every effort not to think too much about it, but it was very hard. I wonder how I'd be able to find out. On the very first day of school, it seemed almost impossible. The classes and timetables were not yet set, and no names on the doors could be seen. God damn it! And my laptop went asleep, and that's a problem because I was rendering there. Now it's annoying that when you close the laptop, well, it decides to turn into sleep mode. Hopefully the rendering somehow didn't stop. It didn't, that's good. Well, hopefully nothing will be corrupted. We'll see. Next, I wanted to look at the timetables of the other classes to see if Miss Kamiyama teaches there. If it was the case, the respective lesson fields of the timetable would have her name written on it. Although it was very unlikely that she'd have her full name in those fields, it was the most painless way of finding out. I met with all the others from my class the first day of the new school year. No one has changed, really. Neither in appearance nor in their personalities. Besides, I was in contact with many of them during the summer. Our teacher led us into our new classroom on the 3rd floor. So that's how it works. The older you are, the higher floor you are on. Huh. That's pretty awesome, actually. I mean, in Poland it doesn't work like that. You basically have classes in every place. And, well, every year he's not on a different floor or anything. Whatever. We had to make a new seating order. It is funny how that really reflects the new relationships. I stayed with Mori, but Nami sat with Kumi as our desks were for two people sitting next to each other. Nami was now definitely one of us. After some words from the principal through the school radio, our teacher began to settle some things. We would have to this all end. We didn't have one class for us. For ourselves. We had to move from one to another every single time, and after every single subject. That was a pain. We would have to decide on a new class president during the next week, but there was no reason why Akari shouldn't do it as she has done it the previous years. She actually was chosen to be the president, but I wanted to prevent that she would get chosen. I needed that position. As the class president, I could take part in student board meetings and be around the teachers much more. So when the teacher said we still would have until the end of the week to choose the class president, I volunteered. The others were not too shocked, as I was very much the authority in class. I wasn't really the leader or so, but I was the one who, when it came to decision making and discussions, I was perfect for the job, and I have proven it several times when at the class meetings. I have solicited very good conditions for our class with our teacher, not to mention the one time when I was at the principal's office with Akari. No one really objected, and I think Akari was very happy that I volunteered. And that was it. I was the new class president. To say I did this only to get a chance to see Miss Kamiyama would not be 100% correct. Yeah, only 99 probably. However, thinking about your mouths and your weird percent, I have no idea how much percent you could give. I found pleasure in soliciting things with the teachers, because they thought I didn't yet get the complexities of the issues we dealt with. But every time I'd surprise them with comments they never expected to hear from a child like me. It was fun. I never said anything to Mori about Miss Kamiyama, of course. I didn't want him to know. Sure, it would be okay if I just said she looks great, but it would have to stay that way, nothing more. I couldn't tell him about the Redux and that I really like women my age, and even if he took my interest in Miss Kamiyama as something twisted and not normal, it would still be, naturally, bad. I tried to get a sneak peek at the timetables on the doors of all the classrooms we passed by when we walked to the main entrance to go home that day. Nothing. And it would be a really tough task to find out. I would have to make up an excuse as to why I was looking at the other classes' timetables. Although I thought I could manage it, it would still be very unpleasant. But there was nothing else to do. I had to find out her name. 3 days have passed and still nothing. We were just deciding what electives classes we were going to take. I was set on philosophy. I really liked it, besides, I already chose it last year. The classes were always double length every Wednesday afternoon. I signed up for them, and the teacher also noted down all the others' choices. She, by the way, said that we'll have a new philosophy teacher. Miss Kamiyama! Well, this is unexpected turn of events, I guess. This hit me like a lightning bolt. I was barely able to breathe. My heart was beating insanely. A complete shock. Did I miss something last year? When I thought about it, I never knew Miss Kamiyama was the Miss Kamiyama. So our teacher might well have said it last year, and some of my friends that took philosophy that third year might have had her as a teacher. I realized that being in the sports classes all the time, I never saw their teacher. Or maybe I did, just for a few seconds, but she seemed so absolutely normal. I really might have known Miss Kamiyama from before the Redux. I thought of that, but this time, it was substantially different. Miss Kamiyama. I would see her every week, and for 2 lessons. And maybe we would get into discussion, because the philosophy lessons were very much about discussions. That's what I liked about them. That's what I would not like about them. I hate discussions. It was really unbelievable. I was so happy. I cannot describe it. I have not seen Miss Kamiyama since the summer, and as hard as I tried to walk around the teachers' offices, no luck the first days. But now I was happy. Now I was reassured. I would see her. I couldn't wait for Wednesday. When we went home, Mori and I, we wanted to wait for Tomomi and Kumi, so we could get on the same bus. The girls were organizing their papers, and we kept telling them to move it. We were waiting for them, and almost everyone had already left when I suddenly saw her. Miss Kamiyama was there, walking the corridor with some papers in her hands. It was still summer, one has to see, so she was dressed almost as wonderfully as the time at the traffic lights. She was so beautiful. I was dreaming of seeing her again finally, but this moment, I wasn't prepared. I was ashamed for looking at her breasts, but there was nothing I could do. Her short skirt revealed much of her beautiful, sexy legs, and her hair was wonderfully loose all over her shoulders. The glasses that I loved so much made her even more attractive. She passed by us and Mori greeted her politely, as we greeted every teacher we met in school this way. As for me, I just quietly nodded, a silent hello of some sort. And she looked at us when she greeted us back, and then, in the process of looking at us, I felt her look on me. It was a very normal look. She looked at Mori and at me when we greeted her. Nothing special. But for me, it was like she looked right through me. I felt so ashamed for what I was thinking, for the way I looked at her, for the fact that I thought she was attractive. And when Tomomi and Kumi finally joined us, I was thinking about nothing else than whether she recognized me as the person that talked to her at the traffic lights. Oh yeah, you talked so much back then. Oh, that was such a conversation. Miss Kamiyama, she was so beautiful and all the things I anticipated came true. I was even more attracted to this beautiful being, and not in the slightest way did I think I remembered her more pretty than she was now. This was me, and I found her so beautiful, Miss Kamiyama.